G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a Commander deck tech on Traxos. I'm sorry this video's a couple hours late. I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk. Good game, lots of bugs though. So Traxos, he's 4 mana, big old 7/7, trample, no colors. We are a colorless free commander here. Always wanted to do one. So when he enters battlefield, he enters tap, and he only untaps when you cast his historic spell. No untapping during untap step. The trade-off is, you don't have any colors, but he's a 7/7 with tramples, he's very above curve, but you need a way to untap him by casting historical spells, which are artifacts, legends, or sagas. In this deck, it's really only artifacts, that's all we got. And that's how most Trax decks work. So most people do him kind of Voltron because he's a very cheap template to work with, load him up, cast one historic spell, untap him, and just fling him in there. We've gone with more of, he's just here for the sake of it. I've got a bit of a Myr religion, Myr, I don't know how people pronounce it these days. Those little robot guys, love them, need more trouble support, so we'll go through it. So the big chungus cards that really do help the deck overall are Winding Clock, untap all the artifacts during each other player's untap step. Broken, opens up your blockers, opens up your mana rocks, gives you tons of mana production, just overall good card, cannot complain. Darkseer Forge, all artifacts you control have indestructible. Basically the entire team, again can't complain, works with your board wipes, makes your board indestructible, activate the board wipes, your board stays as is gone. The brand new Forsaken Monument is amazing. Our colorless creatures get +2/+2. Whenever we tap permanents for generic mana, we get another generic mana back. So all our lands, basically. And when we cast any spell in our deck, we'll gain 2 life. Amazing piece of tech for this deck. Scrap Troll is just amazing efficiency. Every time we're losing a big artifact, we get a smaller one back from our graveyard to our hand. Just keeps that value train rolling. Commander's Plate's a bit of a troll card in this deck. The equipped creature gets 3/3, so it makes our commander a 10/10. 2 hits. 20 out of 21, like that's the sweating meme right there. And it has protection from each color that's not in your color identity, so all colors. It's an amazing piece of tech for this commander. And we've got the Mycosynth Golem, very fun card. I've personally never actually played with it until building this deck and something I want to try. 11 mana, 4/5, it has affinity for artifacts. Its own reduction is built in based on how artifacts on the board, but it gives all your other artifact creature spells affinity for artifacts. So more artifacts on the board, the less you pay. They can go to 0, you just pay nothing. Very strong. Alright, with the tapping theme. Most bridges attack with the commander, something I want to try, using tap mechanics, not many being colorless, but the Heavy Arbalist. Can't believe I'm saying I'm using this card. I've never put in a deck ever. It is a bad card, but with this commander, it's not too bad. Equipped creature deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Has lots of ways to untap because of the entire deck being historics. So you could start pinging things for 2 damage at a moderate speed, could be decent. And we have lots of ways to avoid the equip cost again, so it's not such a bad card. Paradise Mantle, I've gone this over Springleaf Drum because we can move equipments around our other creatures for free, therefore we can turn them into little mana rocks as we need to. God, dickhead bird, stop going at it. It's 9 in the morning, shut up. Then we've got Manifold Key, just untap our artifacts. There are plenty of versions of this, or you want the clock. I've gone with this because it does have the unblockable built in, which could come in handy with our big 10/10 commander potentially. Right, the overseers of the deck, the big colorless planeswalkers, Ugin and Khan. OG printings and the more recent printings for both of them. The recent War of Spark Ugin makes all our spells 2 generic less to cast. Very powerful, can't complain. +1, you're basically manifesting a card off your deck, make another creature. And -3, just wrecking colored permanents. For our deck, we're going to take that. For Big Boy Ugin, you're going to lightning bolt everything, you can just nuke the board. God forbid you get that 10 off. Gain 7, draw 7, and cheat 7 onto the battlefield. Like, he's just unstoppable. And for the first time, the big boy colorless planeswalkers are like 20 bucks. Been forever since I've been at that price. For Khan, the Sign of Urza, mainly here for that -2, creating a creature that's a 0/0 that scales with our entire board basically. Really strong. Plus he does give us pretty good card advantage. Khan liberated himself. I debated about taking him out or leaving him in, but if he gets to stay on the board, he just does so much work. He nukes their hand, he nukes any permanent, and if we really need to, we can reset a whole game. Everybody at the table will hate it. Okay, onto the Myrs or the Myrs, depending how you want to pronounce it. I've heard different arguments for other things too. These guys are great. I wish this tribe had more support. Total, like, going on a tangent here. Do they feel a little bit Yu-Gi-Oh like to you? Like, in terms of just, I guess, the design, the artwork? Kind of do to me, I think. But I love how they got tribal support, but not on creatures, and like artifact, like you can make a whole city or a planet for these little guys. I'd love them to have a full-blown commander, tribal support, would love to see it. So the Matrix, it can't be wrecked, it's a bit expensive 5 mana, but it Lord effect for all your Myrs, and it pay 5 mana to make another Myr token. you're making 2/2s just out of nothing. The Turbine, you can tap him to make the tokens, 1/1s, or you can tap down 5 Myrs to stitch over for another Myr creature and just bang, onto the battlefield, done. You've got the Reservoir, which can produce mana only for them, but it can return them from graveyard to your hand. Just love the cool little key pieces. I love how the arc joins together too, making the same environment. The actual little guys themselves, the Battle Sphere, enters the battlefield, brings 4 dudes with him. When he attacks, you can top down any number of Myrs you control just to give him huge buff and deal X damage to the defending planeswalker or player. Like, just burns them straight. The Lodestone, you can tap down a ton of artifacts to buff him up, just crunch through. The Galvanizer, another Lord effect, but you can also untap all your Myrs. The Enforcer has affinity for artifacts, so he can become free very easy in this deck. Shimmer lets us cast all our artifacts at flash, really strong card to have. The Retriever lets us return when he dies another artifact from a graveyard to our hand. Propagators just keep making copies of themselves, very strong. And the Welder can gain any artifact activated abilities from any graveyard, including your opponents, so just start stealing things from the yards. Some of the more just normal little dudes. Perilous guy, when he dies, just 2 damage to whoever we need to, can become in handy. Hovermer is a great thing to put equipment onto. Little flying with vigilance, very strong, just start smashing away in the air. Palladium is a good mana rock. The Brass Squire, he can move equipment from any creature to another creature we control. Instant speed, people don't see it coming. Very strong with things like Paradise Mantle, where we can get more mana, or just key pieces. Right, not those little guys, but friends that help the deck overall. Stonecoil Serpent is such a strong creature. Reach, Trample, Pro Multicolor, and it scales at the point with any amount of mana you spend. Just a great creature all around. The Overseer can just start dumping counters on all artifact creatures. The Chief of the Foundry is just a Lord effect for all local creatures as well. Darksteel Juggernaut scales based on how many artifacts we control. It is indestructible, and it has to attack each turn. It's just so deadly. Its champion, Metalcraft, no brainer in this deck of course, but he becomes pro all colors, great for just attacking and put good equipment pieces on him. Endbringer, non-artifact. The ping is nice, the attack or not block could come in handy, but you're mainly going to use it for the draw. Really cool card, kind of forgotten about I think sometimes. Little familiar, gain some life, draw a card, we're going to take him all day long as well. Onto the tools of the deck, I've gone very budget, play it safe because I've already got some expensive cards in this deck. I don't want to go too nuts with like swords of X, Y, and Z. Lightning Greaves, protection. Whisper Silk Cloak, protection and unblockable, great for our commander. Blackblade Reforged, buffs the creature based on how many lands we control, and has a cheaper equip cost based on legendary creatures, commander mainly. Makes your commander a 2-shot kill in most games. Ghostfire Blade, for 1 equip because of its ability, giving any creature 2/2, just a cheap thing, stay on the board, buff up 1 creature if we need to. The Collar, Death Touch and Lifelink are great. Death Touch is even better with the trample on our commander. You can assign 1 damage to the creature and let the rest trample over. And the Fire Shrieker, giving a creature double strike, mainly our commander, because then it become a huge blowout card if we wanted to. So, sucks to suck, removal, we don't really get much of that in this colour, or lack of colours. So we got 2 board wipes. There's a third one, kind of the Slaughter All thing, but not as good. All is dust, each player sacks all coloured permanents they control. Perfectly fine for us. Then you got the disc, enters tapped, you have to pay 4 mana again to activate it, but wrecks all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. With Darksteel Forge out, our entire board should be indestructible hopefully, so again we get to keep our side, wreck theirs. In terms of actual instants and sorcery removal, there's a couple, they're all pretty bad. Warping Well lets you exile little things, possibly counter. Spatial Contortion could neg-3 a creature to the ground, but we run some tax-like effects. Godfarer's Statue makes all your opponent's stuff 2 more generic to cast, plus they lose life at each beginning end step. And the Loathsome Golem makes all their stuff, non-artifact spells cost 1 more to cast. Doesn't really affect us. Kind of way to put our opponent off casting spells. Draw again is very hard in this colour, so we've kind of got it where we can get it in some creatures, in land slots, some artifacts here. Mystic Forge lets us puff the top of our library if it's an artifact card or colorless. We may pay 1 life to burn away the top card as well. Trading Post gives a lot of options. We can sack artifacts to draw, we can ditch cards to gain life. Mainly here to sack an artifact and draw a card. That's going to be your main thing. Lose a creature to combat, before it's dead in combat, sack it to their draw card. Staff of Nin, just an extra draw each turn, can't really go wrong with it. The pinging is nice. Mind's Eye, whenever our opponents are drawing, we may pay 1, if we do, we get to draw a card too. Probably our best form of drawing this deck. Then we've got the Journal, which passively generates us clue tokens, which we can sack to draw a card later on. Plus, having more artifacts on the board does help certain cards in this deck. You can sack 3 clues to just go and tutor, go nuts. So in our ramp, we've got the Familiar and the Inspector, both giving all our cards in our deck pretty much a reduction. The Semblance Anvil, just imprint an artifact underneath them, 2 generic reduction. Between these three guys, you could make all your artifact spells 4 less to cast. Very strong. Solemn gets us a basic land, dies, draws a card. Bonus shot, when it enters, we get 2 basic lands. We do run a ton of waste. The Walking Atlas, we can start tapping him to put lands from our hand onto the battlefield. Kind of a must-have in a Colorless deck because we don't get much ramp any other way. Onto Mana Rocks. Anything generic, because color's pointless. Soaring Throne Dynamo, your heavy lifters. The Skyclave Relic, something I want to try. 3 mana generic, indestructible, taps only 1 color, but has kicker. If you do kicker it, you get 2 copies of it extra. So 3 Mana Rocks, pretty cool. Blink of Moth Urn does give our opponents some mana sometimes, but beginning of our pre-combat main phase, we get a ton of mana based on how many artifacts we control. The entire board basically for us. Really powerful, just start playing at your hand. Probably get destroyed pretty quick though by your opponent. And we run level 1, 2, and 3 for the Mindstone Hedron thingies. Basically they tap for 1, 2, 3 mana and they can draw you 1, 2, 3 cards. Cool little theme. Onto the lands. We've got a couple of draw lands here. We've got War Room, which pay life equal to colors of your commander, then draw a card. So no life, thank you. For 3 mana, draw a card. Seagate Wreckage, if you have no cards in hand, 3 mana, draw a card. Bonder's Enclave, if you have a creature power 4 or greater, 3 mana, draw a card. Our commander's power 7, we're all good. In the Guide Reach, 2 mana, each player draws and ditches. Inventor's Fair gives us just some passive life gain, plus we can sack it to go get an artifact card from our library. Very strong. Probably one of the big chunkiest cards, maybe the Unwinding Clock, or Commander's Plate, whatever you're feeling. Tomb of Spirit Dragon lets you gain a ton of life based on how many colorless creatures you have. It's just a tap effect, not a sack effect. You can just gain 10 life each turn, no problem. Very underrated. Buried Rune lets us save an artifact from a graveyard back to our hand, and the Void is a little bit of scry. So I want to try this Crawling Barrens. It's a no-color man land. Every time you're activating it, it gets 2 counters on it. And it has no downside, like it enters untapped, use it straight away. Worth a shot. Our Oran Reef, we can start dumping counters on our colored creatures to enter battlefield this turn. And Sanctum Nugan, if we cast some big enough colorless spell, we can go and tutor for another one, basically. Onto actual more mana, we've got Guildless Commons, bounces back another land, but you get 2 generic. Temple of False Gods, 5 more lands, taps for 2. Shrine of the Forsaken, have 7 more lands, taps for 2 as well. Mirrored Landscape goes and gets this 2 basics out of our deck, only waste we have. Which of we have 19 wastes. By the way, have you seen how expensive not full art ones are? They're like $1 each more than the full arts. Never knew that. Alright, that's our little Traxos commander. Love him. Pretty cool commander. I love how the Myrs just pray to the Omnisire. Bit of a 40k reference there for the boys. Great commander. Load him up. Voltron him if you want. I like trying to play a little bit of Myrs. You don't get to play with them too often. I keep saying it different every time. It's cool to play a commander with no color, and it's already got a good synergy in it, being artifact tribal. Alright guys, that's it. Let me know any thoughts for the commander. What would you like to add, change? Any commanders you want to see, mention down below. I've kind of done the ones in Commander Legends that I like. Now I'm just picking random ones I like to do. So let me know your thoughts and have a good one. Ta-ta! Thanks for watching the video guys. If you enjoyed it, give the video a like, helps out the channel a lot. Plus, give it a like for those little Myrs. Those little guys need more tribal support. And please consider subbing. About 10 to 15% of my viewers are subs now. Thank you guys for your support. To my patrons, I can't thank you guys enough. You are YouTube family to me. You literally support me and help me do my little hobby. I can't thank it enough. You guys do mean the world to me. I hope you're all keeping safe in the world. It is getting weird still. When will it calm down? Who knows?